Hubba bubba. Hubba bubba. Hubba bubba. Hubba bubba. I'll flush him out. How did you not die? Oh, hey, buddy. You're the worst boss to fight solo. And I tried to. Get fucked, all you enemies. Okay, I really gotta fight for space now. Oh, that's the exact opposite of fighting for space. It's always the burgles. Oh, and a chaos spawn. Well, if I want to deal with this chaos spawn, I had better get out here. Actually, I should probably think about ending the video pretty soon, right? Like, I don't want this section to go on for like 5+ minutes. Yeah, I'll just end it here. Leave mission. I'm ready for the comment from someone to be like, fucking, oh bro, you got downed, even though I'm literally in the pause menu, like, alright, let's just leave. I don't know how long to make those kind of gameplay sections. I really don't. Like, I feel like that got the point across. You got to see armor, you got to see a boss fight, you got to see horde. Like, you got to see one of everything. A bunch of specials, a boss, a horde, all the stuff you could realistically want to see, yeah? I don't know. Give me comment feedback on that one. Do you want to see longer gameplay sections when it comes to these builds, or do you want to, like, you know? Because I really don't know. I don't know how much is too much before people start getting bored. Okay, so let's talk about the build. First and foremost, you can change the melee weapon with literally whatever the fuck you want. The melee is not the powerhouse of the build. You could always use the forbidden, the one sword, you know, the forbidden thing, the one I dare not speak its name. Power sword. If you want to make it a little more interesting, you could put Power Cycler 3 instead of 4 on. But I'll be honest with you, man, it is... Oh, it's hard to stay awake when you're using this weapon. But if you're using Weapon Specialist, you're pretty much only using it for this, so that this weapon has good mobility. But your melee weapon is more just a utility tool. I recommend either the Combat Blade, the Sapper Shovel, or the Power Sword. The Combat Blade, as you saw, has honestly pretty great horde clear. At least as long as it has Riposte. Because the 20% crit chance from Riposte and the 25% crit chance from Reciprocity is very, very good. Very good. You crit constantly. It destroys the horde better than most weapons. I highly recommend the shovel. Because, I mean, come on, man, it's a shovel. The new pickaxe attack is pretty ridiculous. If you want to see what the horde clear on this is like, just to get a very quick idea. No, it's alright. It's not terrible. And this is what the dodging is like with Weapon Specialist on the shovel. Oh, yeah, real quick, let me show you dodging with Weapon Specialist on the knife. It's the whole reason you use it. Okay, so the Columnus is the other weapon that you use, and this is kind of the entire crux powerhouse of the build. Close order drill is you kind of have to go this way. You don't really have much of an option. These nodes kind of aren't that super impactful. And confirmed kill is, I mean, it's fucking confirmed kill. You kill like 2 gunners in a pack, and you're basically God mode for the next couple seconds. Also, this stamina node is shockingly important. Survivalist is the best aura in the entire game. Nothing else even comes close. You can have a second version of this build that's the same thing that just goes down this route if you want. The crack grenade is an okay alternative, but the shredder grenade is just fucking better at this point. I hope most people realize. Let's say someone is down, surrounded by elites. You just throw 2 grenades, and then you go for the res. That way you aren't rezzing them into a horde of shit that's attacking them and downing them. Although really, people shouldn't be complaining about that. They should just know that you can hold dodge you can hold block and dodge the second you get rezzed. And that gets you out of most situations. You also have your ultimate for that as well. Oh, also, don't get back in the fight. If this is proccing enough that, like, this is the kind of node that might save you, like, one time, but ignoring the fact that you can just play better to not need to be saved by this node is, like, only useful a very, 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 very small amount of times. Catch a breath might not be active a lot, but hey, let's say you just took a lot of toughness damage, you're transitioning, getting ready to do a drop down or run into an event, and it'll be active. This is an example of 8 meters if you need to see how far you are from people, so it's a pretty decent range. It's kind of just quality of life. So there are ways you can get field improv in this build if you want to take it. You can drop Weapon Specialist. You could also drop Close Quarters Kill Zone. Both of these things are not super duper impactful, they're just really nice. So if you value the team support from field improv more, that's definitely pretty valid. I wouldn't really run the other ultimates if you want to stay super tryhardy. Voice of Command is just far and away the best one. I guess I'll give a very quick breakdown if you somehow are living under a rock. So Voice of Command doesn't work how a lot of people seem to think that it does. You see a lot of people waste it. Like, they would, like, right now, okay. There's 2 ways I want to talk about this. First and foremost, because I see a lot of veterans screwing this up. Let's say this is a Medicaid station, we're all safe here. But then this area is the drop down. You should absolutely use this, pre-buff your toughness for your team, then drop into the drop down. Because this gives you enough to fight whatever elites have passively spawned, and you're gonna get this back pretty much instantly. Second off, and this is the much more important thing, this fully restores your toughness. It doesn't just give people toughness. Where is, here he is. So you can see, I have no toughness. Now I just hit the button and it's all back. This is far better used as you're fighting gunners or you're fighting ragers or whatever. This is honestly really powerful if you use it as a selfish tool to never let yourself get into the danger zone in toughness than it is as a support tool to endlessly spam without thinking about it at all. Really, I'm advocating that you just use your fucking brain a little bit. Sometimes you are more important than your entire team combined. That is just a hard fact of Tide games. There are going to be several cases where you are the most important person, and if you can't do what you need to do in that moment, you're probably just going to wipe. The other alts require much more point investment, which starves you from points down here. Like, you're not really going to use Infiltrate without Overwatch. You're also probably not going to use it without Low Profile. And, like, where are you getting the point from that, you know? Marksman's Focus has Executioner Stance has the exact same problem, and that you absolutely have to run it with Relentless. You kind of want to run it with Counterfire too, and the actual effect is not as good. This is the basic ammo package. Run this in every single vet build. The weak spot and elite damage here works for your melee weapon as well. Just to give you an example. Okay, well, that was a fucking crit. But the fact that this, with no maniac damage on it, just straight up one-shot that guy before I activated any buffs. Okay, well, it didn't one-shot. It was 70 damage off one-shotting. But that should give you an example of just how good those nodes really are. Also, you're running them for ammo efficiency's sake. More base ammo means you get 25% back on the ammo tins. It also means you get an extra bullet back from Survivalist on every kill. It also leads to pretty funky situations like this. So, these two abilities to get down, because you're really doing this for Iron Will and Tactical Awareness, because Tactical Awareness is one of the best nodes in the entire game, gives you a lot more voice of commands. Oh, by the way, because I saw people mention this in the veteran video, voice of command is not a thing on elites. That was more I think that might have been a problem with me and how I presented it, but like, this doesn't work. It only works on these guys. So, some people were telling me that I'm stupid for using cooldown reduction on this, but guys, sometimes you have to fight like 20 Ragers with like little to no specialists. Sometimes you have to fight a bunch of specialists, and it's sweet, and you can endlessly spam this. Iron Will is pretty mandatory. Really, Iron Will with voice of command should be nerfed. Frankly, this shouldn't be a thing, if I may just give my opinion for a moment. These two nodes single-handedly make up 90% of the veteran's defense. The fact that this is realistically like a 10-15 second cooldown ultimate that automatically restores toughness and 50% reduced damage makes it 0.5 times more effective at, preventing damage. So like 163 toughness, the first like 40 toughness here is effectively 100 toughness because of all the damage reduction. And then you can instantly bring it back. So it's actually closer to 80 toughness once you do that. And it's like, oh my god, that is an effective like 200 toughness just in your first little bit before you even get to the extra you generated and all the entire rest of the pool. Seriously, why is Iron Will so good? Also, if you have Iron Will and Confirmed Kill, you should never be dying to Gunners. Oh yeah, by the way, veteran builds that take Iron Will and Confirmed Kill and Gunner damage resistance on the Curio, please fucking stop. You look like a clown when you do that. Because, if I can just show you real quick. No, wait, come back. So, you just kill 2 Gunners, and that's your toughness regen, on top of having like 60-70% toughness damage reduction. If you can't take that momentum and chain it into at least one more Gunner kill to outpace their damage without Gunner damage resistance, then like I don't know what to tell you, man. You just fucking get good. Like legitimately just get good. And as far as this tree goes, this tree is absurd. Reciprocity is too hard to showcase in a controlled environment, but you could just check my buff bar there. When I'm recording these videos, I like to keep my buffs here in the center of the screen. Normally, I would have these bottom buffs turned off, but you could have just watched... I mean, you could literally watch the gameplay clip. Between Reciprocity and Finesse constantly being active, like, every single attack was a crit. And it'll be like that for, like, the Shovel and the Power Sword as well. It's a little ridiculous. They just can't really benefit from Finesse. Desperado, plus Reciprocity, plus Finesse, and you're pumping into, like, the 65-70% crit chance range. It's, pretty strong. Pretty hard to go wrong. Onslaught is so you have an extra way to deal with armor. Yeah, Onslaught is pretty not bad, honestly. It doesn't help you much versus Flak. You're just gonna kill those guys quickly anyway. I will say, though, nothing is as good as just going in and doing this. When you get, like, all your damage juice, when you're damage juicer, chat, we're juicing, chat, we're juicing. Oh, also, this also allows you to take the stamina reduction, which, if you want an example of what that's like, it just makes your already great stamina really better. Wow, that was... Maybe I should write scripts for these. So, if you're going to go this, and use stamina on your trinkets, Duck and Dive is not mandatory. And I took the skill point off for Weapon Specialist, but if you would rather have this, you could drop Weapon Specialist for that. That would be pretty valid. Trench Fighter is just going to be better than Skirmisher. Especially because you're already getting so many melee buffs. This is a very generic and standard vet build. Your gameplay loop is going to basically boil down to doing this 90% of the mission. You pull out the Columnus, you have enough DPS to kill every single threat, except for, like, Crushers, in 1 second. Literally. No, seriously, it does not matter what the threat is. You can just kill it all in a second. You have enough ammo generation through Survivalist in a Maelstrom that you never really have to reload, and you only pull the melee out whenever you need it. Although I would like to give a little caveat on Weapon Specialist. You should absolutely be keeping this up at all times. It's really not hard. You see, like, oh, it's about to fall off, pull it out, 1 second, you go back into it. This is just free DPS. And the biggest reason you're using this, though, is the dodge speed and the dodge distance. Like, most people are going to be using a power sword with this loadout. And I really can't stress how fucking garbage the mobility... Look at this! No, seriously, look at this. You have, like a 2-meter slide distance. Like, it's legitimately terrible. But here, we have... You know, we get like a full extra meter of slide distance on this. Now, you might say that's not a lot, but when you consider that you have 4 dodges, getting an extra meter on all of them, an extra meter, that's like the difference between entire weapon class. If you don't believe me, here's something like the Tactical Axe. And this is just its base. See? No, literally. Weapon Specialist turns the Power Sword into a Tactical Axe level of movement. It might even be about as good as the knife, actually. So it's it's like half a meter worse than the knife. Yeah, okay, so it's like half a meter, 1 meter-ish, in that ballpark worse than the knife. But, I mean, can we just talk about how overpowered this is? The fact that it's making the Power Sword even anywhere near the same ballpark as, like, full front... Like, here's the thing. The Power Sword is the best melee weapon in the entire fucking game. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that. The Power Sword is fucking overpowered. Like, straight up, they could nerf this thing and it would still be one of the best melees in the game. The biggest thing that balances it is the fact that all these other weapons are just flat out more mobile than it. And this thing, it feels like you're dragging through mud. But Weapon Specialist single-handedly counteracts that downside. And it's funny, everybody always talks about Weapon Specialist for its, like, damage potential. Bro, I literally don't give a fuck. I only care about its defensive potential. Especially because the melee part of it lasts for 10 seconds, so you don't really have to bounce a lot to maintain it. I would not drop anything for any of these nodes. They're all pretty terrible. Is there any cool little tips and tricks that I have? Oh yeah, Curios. Almost fucking forgot to talk about them. For all your Curios, you want to be running 1 health, 1 toughness, 1 stamina. You can drop the health for toughness, or you could drop stamina for something else if you feel like it's not going to help you that much, because you do spend a lot of time with your gun. As far as rolls go, you want cooldown reduction on everything, stamina regeneration on pretty much everything, and you want some mixture of block efficiency and sprint efficiency. I like to go 2 sprint efficiency, 1 block efficiency. Because just 1 block efficiency with a stamina curio, that's enough to block a horde or like 2 or 3 rager combos. Whereas sprinting is something you're doing constantly. It's more important that you can sprint into a fight and still have stamina than it is to actually be able to block a bajillion things. You'll generally find that you spend more stamina. Oh, another thing that's really... Because people always like to get on me on the stamina thing. Bro, how many times have you fucking sprinted, Poxburster spawns? And now you're, like, sitting there with no stamina, and you're just like, fuck, bro. Because I don't know about you, but, like, this situation, or, like, a dog or something, this has happened to me quite a lot. Oh, and mind you, this is with less stamina delay and stamina trinkets and shit. So, like, you know. I like how easy you can push these guys. I'm getting sidetracked. But, yeah. I think that covers just about everything. Oh, yeah, bosses. Bosses. I want to talk about bosses. Sorry, this is unscripted, and I didn't wake up all that long ago. I literally just woke up and was like, you know what? I want to fucking talk about some Darktide builds today. So, against the boss, you just use the ultimate, and then you just go for the weak spot. But, if I may make a suggestion, because as you can see, this is not as good as Psyker. We can also pretend like I hit all the shots there, which is why I'm doing it again. Like, that's respectable boss damage. You'll contribute fine to a boss fight. But if I may be so kind, I would just like to mention that this is a thing that you can do. And with reciprocity, these will all be crits. And you could just absolutely go ham on bosses with the power sword. Like, it's hard to go wrong with this build, really. That's kind of the thing. This build is A+ tier at everything. It has like A tier boss damage. It is A+ tier horde clear. It is A+ tier ability to deal with elites and specials. It is like A-, maybe B+ tier boss damage. There's literally nothing wrong with it. That's kind of the thing that people don't seem to get. Builds that are like S tier at one thing, but kind of not great at like one or more things, are just kind of not good builds in general. Because if all 4 players in the lobby are running a build where their build can do everything at an above average level, 4 people playing at 120% effectiveness is better than one guy playing at 150% effectiveness. Meanwhile, the other 3 people are playing at like, you know, like 30% effectiveness. Cough, cough, smite psyker. You know, and it's just like, yeah. There's nothing you could really change about this. Like, this is the milk toast plain vanilla build. But hey, man, if you want a green circle chase, it'll be pretty okay for that.